So let's move on to our so that's the we talked about visioning, get clear, and we've talked about mobilizing, get going. Then it's time to think about getting better. So the developing stage is all about getting better. And let me share my background that gives you some of the elements of that. Here we go. Yes, so best practice is a great example of best practice that was put into place at Big Bus. And interestingly, here's where coaching comes in. Because if mentoring is sharing experiences, the show based on demonstration, based on experiences in that mobilizing stage, coaching is around helping individuals and teams to be better themselves. So those skills as a leader of coaching and facilitation and managing and supporting people to be as motivated as they can be is in this getting better stage. And it's really important to know you cannot do any of this until you've created the vision and been really clear about how to mobilize. So I'm going to invite my next guest storyteller to join us. So Pippa is actually our managing partner here at Uspire, and our joint managing partner. And Pippa has had an illustrious career in both retail and in the supply side of businesses at Sainsbury's and Birdseye, actually. I don't think at the same time as Steve, or maybe, and also has run her own business. Run and sold her own business. So Pippa, would you like to join us? Hi, yeah. Oh, we're all matchy blue. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hello.
So what story are you going to tell us about developing?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story about organic. Hands up if you remember the word organic foods coming into your life. Yeah, remember that period of time? Now cast your mind back when you first heard about organic. What was your feeling? What does it bring up for you as organic foods coming into the world? Any nominations?
Expensive.
Expensive. Alternative. A bit Hessian wearing. Something woo-woo. That only a bit woo-woo. Only some people wanted. Wasn't mainstream.
Short
Healthy.
Shelf life. Very short shelf life.
Very short shelf life. So, I mean, that might have been, you've heard organic now, it's part of your language. If you roll back 20 years, I'm going to say, that's probably when it first started coming into your horizons. As a buyer, it actually started another 5 or 6 years before that. As a buyer, can you imagine how exciting people were to have organic coming onto the radar? And that was one of my first areas of developing change, developing people and developing a whole new way of working. So I was a buyer at Sainsbury's back in the late 90s, and my naivety, I've done it many times in my life, my naivety said, here's a project, Pippa Dunford, here's organic food. And I was like, oh wow, that sounds good, organic, brilliant, yep. It was the poison chalice of which nobody else really wanted to take on. So I quickly learned that one. But if we go back to what was the vision at Sainsbury's, the vision was to become the leading organic food retailer. Very, very clear. The mobilization was very short. One person, go do it. Set it up for us. That was the mobilization. That was the investment giving. So what was my challenge? My challenge was, how do I bring organic foods into Sainsbury's different to what it is now and expand that range? We had 14 products in Sainsbury's at that time, and it was recognised that it was an opportunity to become the leading retailer. What did that mean? Oh my goodness, it meant working with every single buyer and persuading them to take on that short shelf life alternative, doesn't sell a lot, not going to enhance their category, not going to give them any more money, product that they needed to take on. So I quickly had to adjust how we worked to develop not new people, not people who had to get better, but develop the idea, develop the proposition, and develop the reason to put it into your range. And I would say in developing all of those best practice improvement coaching is critical. But the three you need are the 3 C's. Communication, tell people, inform people, update people. No one's ever said they didn't tell me enough, they didn't communicate, they didn't tell me too much, they didn't over communicate with me. The second C, coaching, working with them, enabling them to talk through what their issues are, and the collaboration, you're in it together. So what did this mean? So it was the first time the mobilisation part of it was given the remit to try and work across the company. So, 18 to 20 departments in Sainsbury's to bring a range of products together in one space shelf in the store. So you're talking to a very profitable Coke shelving, which was generating a lot of money, and persuading them to say, can I have a little bit of space, please? And can I put my very trendy, upcoming, soon to be highly profitable, market leading products onto that 1 metre of shelf, please? And I'm going to make it look different to Coke next door. And all my buying team are not yet behind me to put their products in. So the communication of what we were doing, why we were doing it, what the opportunity was going forward was absolutely critical. And as buyers, we sell, and as sellers, you buy for sure all the time. So that was the communication element. The coaching part was the hardest part, for sure, but it had the best results. The coaching part enabled me to go around as a little buyer with that poison chalice that nobody wanted to talk to, nobody wanted to hear about. There was a bit of an edict that had to be, you just have to put some of these products in. So their arm was being forced a bit. So I had to coach them on what we were doing, why we were doing it, what it could do for them, how could they get a better price, how do they work with the organic suppliers, who frankly were 10, 15 years behind their mainstream suppliers. So it was harder work for less money that was doing them not a whole heap of good for their category. So the coaching element was not only individual coaching of how we work together to get there, but the coaching as a group. So we always have some supporters, some good stakeholders, bringing the group together. And we're talking not just buyers, we're talking technicians, product development, and things like that. How do we bring them together? Group coaching, solving the problem together. And that enabled us to start collaborating on how we share the poison chalice that was at the time. How do we each support each other and talk about it and make sure we're not on our own? Because nobody wanted it. As a group, we had to have it. So as a group, the collaboration that came through that was to get those products onto a shelf. I also learned the lesson of pushing water uphill in this one. And that really comes through from motivation. The motivation of that vision was there, that we are going to become the #1 leading supermarket for dealing with organic foods. That motivation of trying to push people into the right way through that communication, coaching and collaboration was absolutely key. Rolling on 12 months, what started off as a metre of shelf ended up as 16 metres. Wow. With nearly 450 products in a very short space of time, which enabled them to become the first organic supermarket with the thing. And the collaboration that became from that actually kicked off how category management within Sainsbury's started to then form as a cross-departmental, cross-functional way of working. So pushing water uphill and poison challenges always have a good result at the end if you do ensure that you communicate, you keep coaching your team, and you ensure you've got collaboration.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you so much, Pippa. Thank you. And tell me, I know, Pippa, that you actually opened your own organic supermarket. Was that before Sainsbury's or after?
It was definitely after. And it was, and actually organics was really just beginning to take off by the early 2000s. So I then came out of Sainsbury's and opened the first totally 100% UK organic supermarket. And it's still going strong now.
Amazing. That's what I call self-development, right? That's what I call self-development. Right, just take a couple of moments. Thank you, Pippa. Thank you so much for your time there. Take a couple of moments of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements of getting better in that develop stage. kind of where are you as a business? I think we missed out the mobilize one, but hey, yeah, where are you as a business out of 6? And maybe which is the element as a leader that you feel like actually I could be better at, or I could be at helping my team to be better at. So yeah, let's have a look. I always think it's really useful to just stop occasionally and think, actually, which element could I be supporting my team to be better at of the process? Let's have a look where we got to. Yeah. Yeah, interesting, Matt. Matt Spencer, who is commercial director at Cafe Nero. Matt saying 4 out of 5. And the bit that's missing is how to share best practices across a massive estate of retail. One to think of. Cara Williams, who is sales director at Hobart, which are a industrial washing and equipment supplier, is saying 4 out of 6. Yeah, interesting. Succession planning, kind of, that is absolutely a development activity, right? It's not a vision, it's not a mobile, it's a development activity for the overall team. And then, of course, each individual needs to get into vision, mobilize, and develop. Thank you. Thank you.